conversations last offseason was Caitlin Clark $100,000 an hour speaking gigs. Well, I'm here to tell you she is not taking long getting back to work, raking in the cash because she has...
Looks like Caitlin Clark has officially landed her first speaking gig of the offseason. And she didn't even let the season cool off before cashing another check. While half the WNBA is still tangled up in CBA drama, Clark just secured her first offseason job. And this time it's not about rebounds or assists. It's about big money and microphones. So the real question is the WNBA mad, or just jealous? Because while the rest of the league debates leadership, lockouts and Kathy Engelbert's disappearing act at press conferences, Caitlin's out here working. Not signing sponsorship deals, speaking gigs, getting paid just to talk. That I told you, this woman does not rest.
Need the money to do one right. She's landing $100K to speak to speak for companies and represent companies all over the country. She's not hurting for cash, and I just think this is just the coolest thing ever that Caitlin Clark is able.
And I'm not talking about some local school assembly either. No, we're talking corporate level business conferences, the kind that pay $100,000 a pop. Let's rewind for a second, because last offseason the internet went absolutely wild when reports came out that Caitlin Clark's public speaking rate was around six figures, $100,000 an hour. People laughed at first, until companies actually started lining up to book her. And now, not even a month after the season wrapped, she's already booked again. And honestly, the WNBA front office probably found out the same time we did, on Twitter.
So it looked like Caitlin Clark is headed to Long Island Association, bro. So it stated Long Island Association joined the Long Island Association's president and CEO, Matt Cohen, moderates a special conversation with Caitlin Clark discussing her record-breaking performances, impact, and cultural influence on October the 29th at 10:30 to 12:30 in New York.
Here's what's happening. Caitlin Clark has been officially announced as the featured speaker for the Long Island Association's Fall Conference. And yeah, we're talking Long Island money. Big money, old money, golf course money. She'll be sitting down with their president, Matt Cohen, for a special conversation about her record-breaking performances, her impact on the game, and her influence beyond basketball. Translation? She's the face of the sport, and the WNBA knows it.
Yeah, just with working back to full health, Steph mentioned that it was kind of baby.
And let's be clear, this isn't some charity appearance. This is a paid corporate event. They've literally said tickets are limited and sponsorships are open. It's happening at Huntington Country Club, which, if you don't know, is not where broke people hang out. So yeah, Caitlin's getting paid and getting paid well. Now here's the crazy part. Fans love it, but the league's front office? They're panicking. Because when your biggest star can make in 1 hour what half your roster makes in a month, that's a bad look. Let's do the math. The average WNBA salary sits around $120,000 a year, and Caitlin Clark can make almost that much from one speaking engagement. And she's not even breaking a sweat. No fouls, no flagrant hits, no refs pretending not to see elbows flying. Just clean air conditioning and microphones. Meanwhile, Kathy Engelbert is somewhere in a boardroom trying to figure out how to stop a potential player lockout next season. And the contrast couldn't be clearer. Players are fighting over league pay, while Caitlin Clark is quietly proving she doesn't even need the league. Now, don't get it twisted. Caitlin's not done with basketball. But this move sends a loud message. Her brand is bigger than the league's brand. And that's exactly what's scaring people. Because when Caitlin Clark's face alone can sell out arenas, sponsors start asking a dangerous question. Do we even need the league, or do we just need her? And that's when the WNBA starts sweating bullets. Because the same thing that made them rich this year could make them irrelevant next year.
Making sure you don't lose what you've worked on this season. Just what are your plans for the off season and possibly playing or just doing individual workouts?
Yeah, I mean, probably take a little bit of a break here, just for maybe a week. I don't really want to lose a ton of the stuff I've worked on, and just trying to get my body back to full health. There's some USA basketball stuff I need to get ready for. And, I need to be able to find some runs and some ways to play 5-on-5 just so I can kind of get that feel back. And but more than anything, I think my main focus is really just getting my body healthy and once we get back to 5-on-5, like just being able to test my body and make sure I know it's in a good spot where it's going to be able to hold up with everything that, you know, we think we've corrected or we think we've worked on, to be able to know I'm in a really good spot there. And, you know, when you go through injuries, especially in my scenario where it's been a few of the reoccurring kind of bouncing around, which isn't necessarily uncommon in my situation just because of compensation, and, you know, when you're dealing with things in that groin area, that just is kind of how it can go sometimes. I think it's important that you can become confident in your body again, and that's for anybody that goes through injury. So that's probably going to be my main focus, is, you know, just feeling 100% again, and then obviously, you know, having that confidence in my...
This off-season gig with the Long Island Association isn't just a side hustle, it's a power move. It shows Caitlin Clark isn't waiting for the WNBA to fix its image. She's building her own empire. And you better believe the numbers are massive. Companies pay anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000 for speakers of Caitlin's level. And you really think they're paying less for the most talked about athlete in women's sports? Not a chance. She's basically giving TED Talks with a jump shot. And the funniest part? Watching people online act surprised. Bro, this is the same Caitlin Clark who turned college basketball into a national event. The same Caitlin Clark whose Iowa games outtrended NBA Finals highlights. The same Caitlin Clark who sold out every arena in her rookie WNBA season. And you thought she was going to chill all winter? Nah. She's cashing in while everyone else's PR teams argue on Twitter. But let's talk about why this actually matters. While Caitlin's setting up speaking tours, the WNBA is drowning in chaos. Nafisa Collier is fighting the commissioner in public, Aya Wilson's catching heat over favoritism, and Kathy Engelbert's still MIA. The league desperately needed a good headline, and Caitlin just gave them one. Except it's not theirs. It's hers, and that's the difference. She's not letting the WNBA define her offseason. She's defining it herself. That's something the league can't control. When a player becomes bigger than the league, the balance shifts. You can't bench her. You can't fine her. You can't silence her. She's got sponsors, media, fans, and now her own platform. And honestly, it's kind of poetic. While other players are fighting for better paychecks, Caitlin's showing them how to create their own. She's turning fame into business and popularity into independence. And the WNBA doesn't know how to handle that. They've always counted on keeping stars inside the system. But Caitlin Clark's proving she doesn't need the system to shine. Now, let's be real. Some media folks are already spinning it. You've got headlines like, Caitlin Clark chooses corporate over team unity. Bro, stop. You can't be mad at someone for being smart. She's not abandoning the sport, she's expanding it. It's not like she's skipping practice to shoot commercials. The season's over. This is literally what the off-season is for. NBA players host camps. NFL players do endorsements. Caitlin's doing speeches, and getting paid what she's worth. That's not greed. That's value. And you know who gets that better than anyone? The corporations are cutting those checks. Because they see what the WNBA sometimes forgets. Caitlin Clark is global. Her fan base isn't just Indiana. It's Iowa, it's the Midwest, it's international. Kids in Europe copy her shot form. Parents spend hundreds on her jerseys. That's power.so when she books a $100,000 speaking event at a luxury golf club. She's not just getting paid. She's reminding everyone that her reach goes way beyond the court. Now here's why that has the league panicking. Because whether they admit it or not, the WNBA's success this year was driven by one woman. When Caitlin Clark played, ratings doubled. When she didn't, ratings dropped. That's not opinion, that's numbers.so now. With the season over, the league's biggest moneymaker is doing off-season events that have nothing to do with them. They can't promote it. They can't profit from it. They can't even claim it. It's Caitlin's world, and they're just living in it. And you can tell the panic's real, because WNBA media are already trying to downplay it. They're saying, it's just one event. Yeah, right. Until it turns into 10. Because here's the pattern. Last year, one speaking gig led to 3 more. This year, it'll probably double again. By next summer, Caitlyn might make more from her speeches than her entire WNBA salary. And honestly, she deserves it. You can't have one athlete carrying your league, taking hits, and dealing with jealousy, and still expect her to sit quietly in the offseason. She's taking her piece and her profit. Now let's switch gears. Some people are wondering why she didn't join Unrivaled, that player-run off-season league started by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart. Simple answer: she doesn't need to. Unrivaled is great for players looking to make extra income. But Caitlyn's already doing that, and then some. Why risk injury in another league when you can earn the same money giving a speech in heels instead of sneakers? It's Business 101. Work smarter, not harder. This proves Caitlyn's not just an athlete, she's a businesswoman. Now, some fans say she should use her platform to fight for other players. Bro, she is fighting by showing them a better playbook. She's teaching every young athlete that you can build your own brand. You don't need permission. And that's exactly what terrifies the league. Because once players realize they don't need the WNBA to make real money, the control is gone that we've seen it before. Shaq did it. Kobe did it. Serena did it. And now Caitlyn Clark's doing it her way. And this is just the start. Her Long Island gig isn't just a payday. It's a signal to sponsors that she's open for business. Watch what happens next. A new Nike campaign, maybe a Netflix docuseries, maybe even her own basketball academy. Every one of those moves happens outside the WNBA's control. Meanwhile, the league's PR team is tweeting about unity and growth. Yeah, unity's nice, but growth doesn't pay rent. Caitlyn's not waiting for anyone to hand her a check. She's cashing them herself. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The timing. Her Long Island speaking gig is October 29th, right before Halloween. You know what else happens that week? The WNBA's CBA expiration, DESTROY, while players and executives are arguing over contracts. Caitlyn Clark will be headlining a luxury business conference in New York. Tell me that's not poetic. The league might literally go into a lockout while its biggest star gives a talk about leadership and success to millionaires on a golf course. And the press will eat that up. WNBA faces lockout as Caitlyn Clark shines outside the league. That's a headline sponsors love. Because no matter what happens, Caitlyn still wins. If there's a lockout, she wins. If there isn't, she comes back even richer. Either way, Caitlyn Clark stays winning. And that's what the WNBA can't handle. The league feels one headline away from collapsing. And Caitlyn keeps reminding everyone she doesn't need them to keep winning. She doesn't need favoritism, special whistles, or inflated hype. She's got something no one else does: universal respect. Even people who don't like her game respect her grind. She's polite, professional, marketable, and consistent. She's not posting petty comments. She's not starting fights. She's letting her bank account do the talking. And that's exactly why the WNBA's panicking. Because when your biggest star can make the same money on her own, it makes everyone ask the scary question. What happens if she decides not to come back? Let that sink in. If Caitlyn Clark ever took a break or went international, WNBA ratings would collapse overnight. And judging by how easily she's booking six-figure speeches, she wouldn't lose a dime. That's real power, and it's rare. So yeah, the WNBA's sweating bullets watching Caitlyn trend again. Not for basketball, but for business. And the best part? She doesn't even have to say a word. She's not tweeting, arguing, or explaining herself. She's too busy counting commas.